I find myself so much in my head when I'm relating with you, and even as we're here making this video and bringing out this space of possibility, I find myself going into my head and trying to figure it all out and try to say the right thing. It's like it's dead by that time that it is coming out. It's already dead, and then everything that I will say from that place is is a rehearsed thing. It's a mechanism. It's something that is not directly relating with you in the space, but it's something that is coming from my head. And in this space, we're exploring the we created this space to explore the breakdown, the value of breakdown in relationships, in our relationship, and to like see the what happens when I am at that point where my strategies of relating with you they don't work anymore. And one of the strategies that I have is putting up a show and putting up this fake thing, that this fake Jorge that makes it look nice and says the right things. and
I
and
have a question.
yeah.
As I'm listening to you, I get a sense like emotional charge, like the way you're expressing. There's an emotion behind it. So my question is it really fake? Is it fake?
What is, you mean the emotion charge?
What you're doing, what you're saying, this way of relating to me by going to your head first, you're telling me it's fake. And
Would you just a moment ago, uh, you asked me to introduce the video, and I realized that I noticed this thing like going right into my head and trying to figure out what to say. And I said, okay, this is where it starts. This is where it begins. This journey to breaking down.
so what I hear you saying is it's not fake. It's where you're at. It's what you're doing.
Yeah, where I'm
Is
at
that accurate?
is noticing, being able to be more in the, like navigating more to the breakdown, to the point where I don't want to use my strategies anymore.
Why would you do that? Why would you navigate to a breakdown in your relating with me? What does that even mean?
For me, is that the strategies that I've been using all my life to relate with you, they're not working. They are, I see that they are a layer of not being real, not being here with you, not bringing myself forward into the space, not like not discovering something new, but relating from this part of that is comfortable, that I already know how it goes, that I that is familiar to me, that I know how it goes, and there is something else that is possible in this other space, in this other, from this other orientation, that is my aliveness. Is like where I'm bringing my aliveness, and I'm like in a way like putting my shit on the table, because it's my shit that's on the space that doesn't allow me to create something from reality, from our relating space, but it's creating something from somewhere else, from a story of you, or from like my own want to be sheltered, want to be like not in connection.
Yeah, thank you. One thing that I'm experiencing from you is that you're not saying it, and I sense anger. Like I sense that you have
Yeah, I'm
anger
angry.
underneath.
Yes.
And yeah, I want to say something about that. And it's like I've experienced this in men, not just in you, that you're angry. And for some reason, there's a layer stopping that expression. There's a layer that you're not letting your anger be there. And I can detect the anger, and you're not letting the anger have life. So then I go into a dynamic where I'm actually scared. It's a pretty unconscious pattern where I get scared of you because my scanners, my detectors are saying you're angry, but you're hiding it. So now I'm scared of your anger that you're hiding. And this is a really usual dynamic, and it might even go as far as, how can I help Jorge to feel more of what he's feeling? Because I can see it, I can sense it, even I can feel it. Yeah, even this part of like an empath, I know what you're feeling, some like that kind of a alignment to someone or relating to someone of that way. So for me as a woman, one part of my breakdown is, your problem is your problem. I don't need to take that on. And when I don't take on your problem, in a way, like that's how I've mainly been relating to you. Either solving your problems for you or helping you solve your problems, or even unconsciously expecting you to solve my problems. And so when that's not there, I get a space of nothing. And if I'm not okay to be with nothing, this is breakdown. If my programming is still that relating is solving your problems and you solving my problems, as soon as I stop doing that, I would likely get my inside saying, alert, alert, we're not in a relationship anymore. What's happening? He's not letting me save him. I don't want to save him. I don't want him to save me. Alert, alert, there's no relating happening. This is big for me right now. Most of my relating with you has been of that place of, when you solve my problems, when you take care of me, you love me. When I solve your problems, when I take care of you, I love you. That there's an end to that. There's a point where that gets to an end. For me, a lot of it was when we had children. It shifted, and it's like that dynamic was not sustainable anymore, and it was so depleting. Okay, when that's not there, there's nothing. And I, in my life, have not had this idea that relating can happen from nothing. So then my inner workings are like, no, you have to let me save you. You have to let me teach you how to feel your feelings. You have to let me do it for you. You have to let me tell you how it goes. You have to let me, whatever it is, as a point of relating. Yeah, so I think of my circle, multiple people sending me messages of, what do I do? He won't let me save him. He won't let me fix my problems. He won't stop hurting me. He won't stop making me smile. He won't get his shit together. Okay, well, that sounds like something. That sounds like his problem is your problem, or your problem is his problem.
Yeah.
Okay, what happens if I tell you that authentic relating, like relating of the moment, happens without that gunk? It's really this continuous moment to moment deciding, for me, what stories am I going to create about you as a way to relate to you? Do I want to relate to you that way? Do I not want to relate to you that way? What do I choose? This is a point of something else, like radical relating, like a moment where, when there's none of that gunk, that is all, okay, I hear you relate mostly from your mind, and it's safe for you, and it goes up there. Okay, when you don't have the necessity for that, my guess is that's a survival strategy. That's a way of somehow avoiding being present and fully feeling. And I get it. It makes sense to me. You used it in your life to survive, and it works, and you're still using it. And it's getting you consequences that I'm hearing.
Well, yeah, like I feel so angry. Like I feel angry, and I see that that there is none. Like I'm scared of. Like I'm still clinging on. Like, and this is part of my strategy, and part of like making this video is really like navigating with Melissa, in my relating to a space of of breakdown. And right now I'm using my example as a way of navigating to that breakdown. But it's like I'm so angry, and part of my strategy is not showing that anger, because it's too much. It's too much clarity. It's too much energy. It's too much thing in the space. It has this power where, like, oh no, like it's too much, so I gotta play small. I can't say the things that I'm saying, and it's so irrational. Like it's just like it wants to explode. And one of the strategies for me, and what I've seen in most men, is that we hold it all in, or we pretend that we've done all of our work, and we pretend that we have done all the we are composed or whatever. And for me, it's a strategy of playing nice, and there is just so much there. There is just so much anger, and there is a blockage of expressing that anger and using that anger in the space to create possibility, to even like just feel it, to just feel the anger. and and I am where I am. Like it's like, fuck, it's so enlivening to be able to feel my anger next to my partner and not feel scared. And one of the things that allows me to be here in this space with my partner is that I built up that capacity to be in breakdown, to feel the feeling of being in breakdown, to feel the feelings of being fucking scared about not knowing where to go, where it's going, what am I saying, how does this make sense, what is my position. and Building up that capacity to be in that breakdown next to my partner, and with myself, where I'm not abandoning myself, where I'm not throwing myself out into this the swamp, and where I don't have possibilities, but building up that capacity of being with the feelings, being with my fear, being with my anger, the things that I'm angry about, what I feel rage about, uh, being with what I feel sad about, and having that as a new point of origin for my relating in my space with my partner.
One thing that happens that gets a relating space to a point of breakdown, and I'll go a bit more radical, is that it's an individual experience. So one thing that happens that gets a person to a point of breakdown is that they have been feeling a lot. They've been angry, they've been heartbroken, they've been terrified, they've been happy, they've been desiring more, and all of this has gone unexpressed. And one of the consequences of it staying in is it all gets mixed up. And when all of that feeling and information is mixed up, a person hits breakdown. The vessel, it's like it can't keep going with the intelligence of the feelings being all mixed up and held in. So this is one really stark, just clear way that breakdown happens when there's so much that a person is feeling. And I'm going to say, like, in myself and in my circle, it's actually the women that are getting there. Like, it's the women that are sourcing the breakdown. At some point this year, I decided I'm going to feel everything I've been feeling. And I went into breakdown, and my breakdown brought our space and the normalcy of it and how it was going into a breakdown. There was no expectation or kind of knowing of how it would go.
What I've noticed in the man, in myself, in my own space, in my relating with Melissa, and in the other men in my circle, is that men have this thing that we're okay. I'm okay. Like, what's wrong
Mm,
with you? Why are you acting like this? Like, we're getting better. We're getting there. Like, it's okay. Like, why are you
yeah.
overreacting? Why are you bringing all of this shit into the space? What's going on that you're like fucking bringing up, like, all of this emotional charge into our space again? And that's like, that was my orientation before, of blaming it on Melissa, in a way, like saying like, you are fucking up our relating space. And and that has like brought it back to myself. Like, what about me? Like, what about the like how can now the way that we use this is like we or I use this as a way of evolving, getting the feedback of what my partner is saying, not taking it personally, not using that as a food to feed my self-worth, my lack of capacity to be a man, or to hold space, or to be a good husband, or to be a good partner, or to be a good father, and start using like using that as like saying, this is what my partner is bringing, this is her job. And and what I've noticed men doing is that they have the strategy of saying like, we're okay, what's wrong with you, something like that. I'm okay, why are you not okay? Why do you always want more? Why do you like why do you why are you never happy with what we have, something like that.
Yeah, and maybe the next level is even like, okay, I'm gonna leave.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna leave. I can't fix it. I can't take it anymore. So I'm just gonna leave. One thing, one like fundamental about radically relating with another person, whether it's you, my very intimate, like really lots of collaboration partner, or really anybody, is when I relate from a place of we, I get a sort of enmeshment where, to a degree, I'm somewhat responsible and the other person is somewhat responsible, and it's kind of filled with expectation of what that responsibility looks like. In a space of radical relating, there is no we. I don't relate to you, Jorge, as a we. There's me. There's me, there's what I bring, and I am 100% responsible for my relating with you. And then there's you. And you are also 100% responsible for what you bring, what happens, what you create. And then there's a third thing that's created, and it's a relating space. And inside of that space, a lot can happen. The biggest thing that happens for me is that you're a mirror for myself to see how I am creating in the world, because I love you. I love you. I, in a sense of like, you are me, I am you, I love you. And so what stories am I creating about you? How it's your fault, or you caused it, or you're not doing enough, and how that all becomes a reflection for me. And this is radical. This is so radical to say that a relationship, that two people working together are each 100% responsible for it. And for me, that's the basis of a difference between a normal relationship and a space of radical relating.
Yes. I mean, this normal relating, that there is that 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 we have created in or that we that I have created through our 10, 12, like whatever years that we have of relating. And then the breakdown is when you see that is bullshit, that we is not working anymore, that we is actually a, a projection of my imagination, and her we and my we are something completely different. And then there is a breakdown, is that we doesn't work anymore. She keeps saying like, no, that is not me, that is not me, like you are projecting your mother on me, or you are you are asking me to save you, or like that's not how I want to relate with you. And then that way that was the way that I was relating with my partner, it doesn't work anymore, and it starts breaking down, and this is the heartbreak of the breakdown. And actually what starts bringing up this question for you of what do you want in your relating space. How do you want to relate to your partner? Is that how you want to relate? You want to relate with her from a projection of your mind, or do you want to take responsibility? Do you want to own that shit that you have been creating, and start taking responsibility, saying like, okay, this thing really doesn't work, I can see now, this is the feedback I'm getting, and now I can bury this, I can send this to somewhere else, send that to another space, and that like disintegrated, decompose it, compost it, and start anew. And this is the scary part, this is the breakdown, this is the value of breakdown, of starting from nothing. because that was everything before. That was the thing healthy, and like when it's not there anymore, it's like, what are we then? What is this?
The question that's coming for me is how? How do I get to breakdown? How do I allow? It's like one of the potentials of breakdown is that two people relating come together for a purpose. And when that purpose completes itself, this couple, this pair of people, they can either go to the next thing, the next purpose, source the next purpose together, or perhaps it's complete. And so how do I get closer to being with the breakdown and being with the untangling of the mess? And one thing that worked for me, hi Gianni, one thing that the first thing that worked for me to start separating this we and starting to get capacity to see myself but also my partner was when I started completing your communications. And it looked like you would say something. It could be emotionally charged, it could not be. And before I would come with my response or my experience of it, I would reflect back to you what I heard. And you would give me this like, yes, that's what I said. And very often you would go to the next level of what you had to say. And it would keep going until the yes was just yes. And there was nothing more that came. And it was this energetic tool of separating myself from you, unenmeshing myself from you, so I could see more of what was happening. That what was happening for me was mine, and what was happening for you was yours. And again, this thing about problems, I didn't need to take that on. And for me, that was the first and it still is a big source of radical relating and not normal relating.
Yeah, so I think that kind of captures the work talk or